I've been a software engineer for the past decade, and a lot has changed in the tech space since I originally started, especially with the introduction of AI. But overall, for those who are like wanting to be a software engineer or an application developer or just someone in the tech space, it could be awfully tempting just to use AI to, create a prompt and then generate code and then call it good. But I'd say, I'd stay away from that trap if you're wanting to genuinely learn to be in the tech space for, the long term. I would recommend learning the fundamentals first and thinking of, my career, if I were to, do it over or to start now with the knowledge that I have, this is kind of the route that I would go. I would start learning just the basics of web development. I would learn, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And there's lots of great resources out there to help you learn that. At the time when I was learning, I used Code Academy. I'd actually recommend that still. But what I think about, when the fundamentals of web development, like when I think of it like in the context of a house, with the HTML, that's basically like the structure or how the overall like building is going to be shaped. And then you have the CSS, and that is like the aesthetics or how the actual building is going to look. The colors of the exterior or like the color of the carpet. That's all like the visual aesthetics of the application. And then you have JavaScript, and that is like, the electrical or the plumbing or the heating and air, like the actual pieces that give life to the house or make it like interactive. That would be the JavaScript. It kind of makes me think back to a time many years ago. I was building this website using WordPress, and I was building like a photography website, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I'd go to different forums and I would look at like, oh, this is how you do this. And I would just, copy the snippet of code, PHP, whatever it was, and I'd put it into my template and call it good. But then if I ever ran into an actual, a bug that was kind of breaking my website or something that I didn't understand what it was doing, then it'd be kind of a showstopper. And that's kind of how coding can be now, is that with AI it can solve a ton of problems and it is great. But if you do get to like a fundamental issue or something that you don't know how to solve, or AI is like, not coming up with the right solution, then that's when you really need to know the basics of, what is really working underneath with this code. And so that's why I recommend, just starting with the fundamentals and then going from there. Learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I know there's a lot of people out there who are just wanting to kind of get into the door of software engineering, and if I can help someone's journey to doing that, then I'm all for it.